My name's Eve Choi, and I'm the Curator of Horticultural and Environmental Education here at Meijer Gardens and Sculpture Park. And thank you for joining us to experience unexpected color through our Chrysanthemums and More exhibition at Meijer Gardens and Sculpture Park. As you've explored the displays and the plantings indoors, you'll notice a color palette. Each color palette for our horticulture exhibitions is first and foremost influenced by our horticulturalist recommendations and plant availability. This year's Chrysanthemum and More color palette is influenced and drawn from the autumn landscape, but experienced and realized in unique ways by applying color theory. We have a combination of two color schemes. The first color scheme is made up of purple, bright pink, and periwinkle. The second color scheme includes orange, blue-green, and a copper metallic. And I encourage you, not only as you're looking indoors, but also outside, to look for these color pairings. Let's take a look at our garden beds, which were just planted a couple days ago. They're gonna look a little bit different when you're visiting us for Chrysanthemums and More, but let's explore how unexpected color can be realized in these spaces. For those of you who visited us this summer, you'll recognize some of these plantings. Like this Pennisetum rubrum. This grass brings in a nice, airy, light texture, but also really represents that copper metallic. That's an important part of our color palette. Along the edges of the bed, you'll see Heuchera as well, and these plantings help to provide some continuity as we transition from our summer to our fall plantings. So keep an eye out for those as you're exploring the various outdoor gardens. As you take a look at our chrysanthemums that are on display, right now, these were just recently planted, but when you visit, these chrysanthemums will pop with bright pink, purple, and orange, again, tying back to that unexpected color palette. But we can't forget about the more in our Chrysanthemums and More exhibition. As you look throughout the plantings, alongside the chrysanthemums will be asters of a light blue, really tying in that periwinkle in the color palettes. You'll also have a variety of ornamental, kale, and cabbage, bringing in beautiful contrasting color and a variety of textures into our outdoor garden displays. Let's take a closer look at some of the ornamental kale that bring beautiful color and unique textures and forms into our fall plantings. Blue-green is brought into the color palette in these garden displays through some familiar kales, Lacinato kale and Winterbore. Lacinato kale is also called Tuscan kale and has beautiful blue-green strap-like leaves in contrast to the Winterbore, still having that beautiful blue-green color, but is your standard curly kale, so having really tight, curly leaves. Along with the Winterbore, we have red Bore kale, which is similar in structure and form to Winterbore in almost every way except color. Red Bore kale sports a beautiful, deep red to violet color with those stunningly fringed leaves that gets more intense as the season progresses. You can also see some beautiful color combinations within some of the ornamental kales on display in these garden beds. The Nagoya red flowering kale with its broad fringed leaves, along with the peacock red flowering kale with its more open, frilly, airy texture. Both sport blue-green foliage on the outside with a tight center of a stunning red to pink, purple core. I encourage you to join us and see what unexpected color that you can find from the chrysanthemums to the more this fall at Meijer Gardens and Sculpture Park.